Well, hello. Today I'd like to give you my first impressions of the Platinum 3776 with the music nib on it. So let's check it out. Alright, so this is the Platinum 3776. This one has a music nib and it's in the Shart Blue finish. And yes, it is pronounced Shart, just like you had some excess gas to get rid of and had a small accident along with it. Yes, that's how I remember how to pronounce it. It's a very with that horrible description out of the way. This is supposed to be the color of the stained glass windows in the Chartres Cathedral in France. And I don't know if it captures it or not, because I've never been to France. Probably after saying that, I won't be invited. But let's dial down the exposure now. I wanted it bright so you could see the blue. Take a quick look at the nib here. You can see it has a double slit for music. Now, what makes it a music nib? Well, it's tipped and it has a double slit, although not all music nibs are double tipped. Or, I'm sorry, double slitted. I think Sailor has one that does not have a double slit. Okay, so this is the Platinum 376 with the music nib. The ink in it is Lamy Turquoise. I'll just mention this has been laying here for a week or two, almost empty till I could get to it. I can't demonstrate on this model, but in the cap there's a slip and seal mechanism. Well, let's see if I can demonstrate it. Probably not, though. Nope, you can't tell. But anyway, there's a slip and seal mechanism in the cap that allows you to see, or that causes the inner cap. Does that show up? Yeah. The inner cap to press tightly against the section and provide a seal. I did do a video about that. I didn't have the best results, but I also didn't use cartridges. So your mileage may vary. So this is Lamy Turquoise. And I'll mention the music nib. I'll link both videos below, but I also did a video where I compared the different platinum nibs. So this is a music nib, not a flex nib. I know Noodlers has a music nib that they made, which is a flex nib. I suppose it makes everybody think your nibs are supposed to be flexy. I just did that backwards. Anyway, it makes narrow cross strokes and broad down strokes. They're supposed to be held more upright, but this one's kind of scratchy and squeaky when I hold it more upright, so yeah. And I don't write music, and I suppose if I did, I'd use a pencil so I could erase, but that's just me. Wetness and flow. This is kind of depends on the ink. Like with this one, it's doing amazing, but I tried putting some Noodlers Black Swan and Australian Rose in it, and ugh. So it seems to be very ink dependent on how wet it is. Smear test. Yeah, see, that's wet. Reverse writing. I don't know why you would on a music nib. Oops, I'm about to knock an ink bottle off the table here, so we'll fix that. Okay. So, reverse writing. So since this is writing so big, you might say, you know, why do I get a music nib instead of a stub? I have to let somebody else answer that. That is actually very interesting writing. I mean, it had more feedback, but that was interesting. And finally, the world-famous Pierre Gustafson test. Which I think it did very well. And finally, I always like to do a quote with these revisits. I'm going to do a short one because it's a fat nib. So I'll just address one minor point. Why would you get a music nib instead of a stub nib? You know, stub nibs are kind of ground. Well, they don't have tipping on them usually. As I thought about it, I realized I don't have many stub nibs. I don't have many music nibs either. I think partly they're wetter. You know, the double slit makes it a wetter pen. Another thing is they have the tipping, so supposedly they're not going to wear down as quickly. And I'm really drawing a blank, so I might add more to this when I film the talking part of the video, but I do like how that looks on the page, so there is that. So that was my Platinum 3776 with the music nib on it. I've given you a crude mnemonic to remember how to pronounce the name of the finish. The pen is fun. I don't ink it up as much as I probably should, and I'll tell you why. Some inks it's wonderful. I'm very thrilled with it. I enjoy it. The one I was using in the writing sample happened to be one of those inks. Other inks, it's very dry. Like if I put Noodler's Black Swan in Australian Rose, which is a beautiful shading ink, not so much in that pen. This pen. So, yeah, your mileage may vary depending on the pen. I started to get into a little discussion of stub versus music nib. I think that's a video by itself. But the short version is it does have a music nib, and if you're into music nibs, I think it's a decent one. Just a little thought about what ink you put in it. So, is it a daily work pen? No. This is a fun pen. Oh, okay, does not want to go in the pocket. There we go. So that clip is tight, but it did eventually go on. I just had to coax it a bit. But it's not one you're just going to slip in your pocket. So, I hope that was interesting. Hope was useful. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.